to thinking places where you spend your time. Ain't no place I'd rather go. You're a funny little critter and I love you so. And I wanna take a ride in the wheelbarrow in your mind. I come and sit down with me in a rocking chair. Coffee pot is nice and hot. We can sit in our underwear. Tell me about the dreams you had last week, swimming all around with the fish in the sea. Come and sit down with me in a rocking chair. A couple of days or even just an afternoon. They be looking up and we'll be looking down. We can wave to the people in our hometown now. Come on, baby, let's fly up to the moon. Well, I wanna take a ride in the wheelbarrow in your mind. Take me all around to the thinking places where you spend your time. Ain't no place I'd rather go. You're a funny little critter and I love you so. And I wanna take a ride in the wheelbarrow in your mind. Yeah, I wanna take a ride in the wheelbarrow in your mind.
turn the music down.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Thank you, folks. We're just doing a little testing here. Appreciate it. You're on the air. Doing a little testing.
Hey, man, how are you? I'm checking in.
Hey, caller, do me a favor and turn off the music.
Nice.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, caller.
Yes.
Test it.
What is the Country Western Tuesday surprise for today?
You're just going to have to stay tuned in and find out. Well, thanks, caller. Appreciate your call. I'm going to let you go back to the audio board.
All right.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being with me. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE, Jesse, Jesse. My brand new biblical question for this week. I like the hat. Brand new biblical question for this week. Can you see the contradiction between the way you think and the way you are? Can you see the contradiction between the way you think and the way you are? Can you see it? It's amazing. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're busy doing whatever you're doing, working out or whatever, jogging, lifting weights, making breakfast, lunch, or dinner, trying to get here from other parts of the world by crossing the borders without any issue at all, and you get free stuff once you get here. Or you're in New York and now your bags and things are being patted down, trying to get on the subway there by the Army. You still could be listening to the show by calling the listen line. On TalkStream Live at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Follow us on social media. Rumble.com/JesseLeePeterson. You got to know how to rumble.com/JesseLeePeterson. Cozy.tv/JLP. Cozy, where Christ is King. Cozy.tv/JLP. Like, follow, ring the bell, subscribe, and to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Bond JLP on Cash App, Bond JLP on Cash App, or buy me a coffee. Buy me a coffee.com/JLP Talk. Amazing. Buy me a coffee.com/JLP Talk. So it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. And every Tuesday, for the new people that might not be aware of it, every Tuesday is Country and Western Tuesday. Ah, bring back, oh, bring back my country to me. Bring back, oh, bring back my country. What the? Who let the dogs out? Amazing. Who let her son's dog out? Amazing. What the? I saw a guy riding a bike yesterday down the road, and he had a little seat on the back of the bicycle, and had a dog in there, a little poodle dog. I'm like, Lord, help us, Jesus. If ever we needed you, Lord, we need you now. Amazing. A grown man with a little poodle dog on the back of a bicycle. Just imagine that. A little basket on the back. I'm like, what the? Amazing. I I what? Oh, I wanted to tell you something, but I forgot. I okay, I'm trying to find the information here so I can be precise. Okay, I'll get to that in a minute. I can't find it. Oh, I have it. Anyway, I want once again to tell you that our battle is spiritual. When you really, 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 truly see, not intellectually, intellect is beginning of seeing, but at some point, you got to dump the intellect. The intellect is your enemy. The intellect is your enemy. If you doubt that the intellect is your enemy, look at the country. It's being controlled by intellectual people, right? People with degrees, bachelor, doctor, lawyer, PhDs, SADs, STDs, all kind of degrees. And the world, America is screwed up. The more degrees you have, the dumber you are. The more degrees you have, the evil you are. Because you're now thinking that you know something because you learned something from a book. And your mind tell you, which is not your own, by the way, that you are smart, you got it. It lies to you. And you believe it, and it destroys you. Isn't that amazing? And so we have a government now, and maybe the government has always been this way, maybe not, because the government at one point was way smaller than it is today. Did you know we used to have a small government? And did you know that was once upon a time, that was a time when people didn't rely on the government so much? They just paid the government to build a strong military, fix the roads, and look out for us. You know, amazing? Now the government has become a handout government. They're spending buku money on themselves and giving you money to keep you under control. To keep you under control. Another thing I remember too, I truly do remember this, back in the good old days when boys were boys and men were men, people did not trust the government at all. They didn't trust them. And it was the right thing not to trust the government. And so, and then they would vote them in and out. They didn't put up with the government for years. There are people in our government that have been there they're like 80 years old, they're still there. That wasn't tolerated before. The government wasn't supposed to become a job, a career. A career. Now they're making it out a career, and they have to really keep you down in order to do that. And everything that the government do today, everything that the government do is a failure. They have this thing called diversity, equity, inclusion. That might be, but not everything the government does is evil. But this diversity, equity thing, it's the top of the evil list. It is one of the most evil things I've ever seen come through our government. And it's accepted by people who can't see. Isn't that amazing? I remember when they had the terrorist attack over there in New York. and all of a sudden, when they had the terrorist attack, now they had to do all this lockdown stuff, right? They have to check your bags and things at the airport. They have you take off your shoes, your belt, and all kind of stuff. And at first, people were kind of rebelling against it. Well, at first, they were not rebelling because they were in fear. They just had the terrorist attack in New York. And so they were in fear. And then when the fear calmed down a little bit, the people started to complain. But that didn't stop it. It's now worse than ever as far as when you travel through airports and things like that. We are really already under a communist socialist society. They control us. Really. You're just not paying close attention to see how much you're controlled. But you're being controlled. They still make you take your belt off, your shoes off, your iPad out of your bag, show all IDs and everything. Pat you down if the little buzzer ring. It has not changed. Well, they're making our lives worse, harder, while pretending to make it easier. While pretending to make it easier. I notice when the Democrats are complaining about, and even the right-wing Republicans, when they're complaining about the great white hope, Donald Trump, they're complaining about the things that they are doing. They want to control us. They want to be dictators. They want to stay in there. They don't want to leave. And they say that that's what Donald Trump wants, but they're telling you that that's what they want. America, you made a horrible mistake by allowing the government to become so big and allowing these so-called representatives to stay in there for so long. They fight now not for you, but against you so that they can keep the job to make money and perceived power and so-called fame for themselves. Our government is now Hollywood. And Hollywood is swinging. It's amazing. Well, here's an example of where they pretend to be making our lives easier, while it's really making it more difficult. This is from QZ.com. The TSA is testing new self-screening checkpoint lanes. The new process promises passengers shorter wait lines without the hassle of taking off shoes or outerwear or removing electronics from carry-on bags. Watch this from Good Morning America.
Okay, so I'm approaching the self-service screening lane, and this is the first time that I'm going to be using this.
TSA officers aren't gone here, they're just somewhere else.
Since I don't know too much here, I'm going to hit need help.
Hello, how may I assist you?
Hi, so this is my first time using this, so is there anything I need to know about my shoes or the bag?
Yes, so since you have pre-check, you may keep your shoes on, but make sure you grab one of the trays that are located next to you.
I send my bag through the scanner and put myself through one too.
Okay, so this is different. The scanner has all this glass here, so we're going to get in here. Oh, and it shows you that you have to stand differently. It's really very minimal contact with just about anybody.
It definitely takes some getting used to and may slow you down at first. But Christina Peach, who runs this program, says that's exactly why they need to test it.
I'm hoping for a lot of feedback, and that's really what's going to help us.
Even if it's negative feedback?
Even the negative feedback, because you're always going to get a little bit of both.
But some may wonder, is this a way to cut down on TSA officers? Christina says absolutely not.
We will always have officers. They're the most important part of any of our systems.
There is no one in line. You walk up there, nobody there. Of course, it's a little easy there. It's not going to be that way in reality. And then they got a foreigner on the screen, a female. And then he was talking to a female, whatever that person was. What a setup. This is not going to make your life easier. I promise you it's going to get worse. They have those type of checkout things at supermarkets and things like that. I never go over there. I can't figure those things out. What the? Why not bring people back to work, let them have the whole line stay open so you can get through? Your government, we are now in a socialist America. Maybe you didn't see it coming. Maybe you don't recognize it's here already. And this is why they're fighting so hard, desperately against Donald Trump, because they want to continue this. They want to continue this. Now, do you believe me when I say my country is gone? It's gone. It is over. It really is gone. They try to force electric cars on you, and it's going to happen unless Donald Trump or somebody get in there to stop it. There's nothing else to stop it. Amazing. It really, I just never, really, because I know the good old days when things were totally different. America was an amazing America. Individuals thought for themselves and did for themselves, did not trust the government. That was a time when only people who owned property were able to vote, and that kept the taxes down on the homes, because the homeowner would vote in. The homeowner would vote in things that help them with their home life. If you don't own a home, you don't care how much property tax that a homeowner has to pay, as long as you can get the money in your pocket or your little program. We need to go back to you have to own property, a home or empty land or something in order to vote. And no matter what, you must own property to vote, because the homeowners are paying through their teeth now for the weak people who refuse to do for themselves and for a government who want more money in their pockets. So this little self-screening thing, it ain't going to work. That guy tried to make it seem easy. Nobody's in line, dummy. It's going to be different with everybody rushing through. The TSA testers. What a mess! BusinessInsider.com is reporting Clear is a friction-free security process at airports that screen your eyes or fingerprints so you can reach the flight gate quickly and conveniently. Watch this from today.
Amid a sea of planes and passengers, a new technology slowly coming to an airport near you that may seem straight out of the sci-fi movie Minority Report. Now, Delta Airlines and the TSA will start using facial recognition to speed passengers from the curb to the plane. For those who opt in, no more scanning your paper ticket or mobile boarding pass. All you'll need is your face.
Okay. When you show up at your gate, no phone, no ticket. You simply walk up to the camera, take off your mask.
Welcome aboard, sir.
You're done.
For a lot of travelers, it may reduce the hassle of flying and keeping track of those tickets.
I'm all for technology once it's working.
Others
Of
have
course.
privacy concerns.
At what point is it starting to scan you? When does it stop? What all is it looking for? And then how is
Right.
that data being used after the fact as well?
In all aspects of your life, you see how technology is making things easier and more seamless for you, right?
Right. Oh, see, it's just so nice. It's just making it easier. We know every move you make. We know everything about you, but it's just so easy. We know where you're going, where you've been, and why. Your bank account, everything. But they make it seem so easy. And if you're unconscious, you're like, yeah, that's right. Ronald Reagan, this is from Ronald Reagan, library.gov. As Ronald Reagan said, the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That's true. That's what screwed up the blacks, the government. When the so-called civil rights movement sold them over to the Democratic Party and started handing them out government money, welfare and all that, it's just been downhill. They have controlled the blacks ever since then, as far as being on the Democratic plantation and giving them free stuff to keep them there. That's the same thing they're doing with the illegal aliens right now. I remember this Clear thing at the airport too. They tried to get me to buy into that, but I'm like, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not putting my eyes in there. I don't know what type of whatever's coming through there to blind you. But most people there are just so uncomfortable, so unconscious. The government is, it's just so nice and easy. But why did you screw up the easy way to get through to create another easy way? It's time to wake up. If not now, when? If not now, when? I remember that Clear thing at the airport. Isn't that amazing? You think that they're making your life more comfortable when in reality they're enslaving you. And you don't even know what a comfortable life is anymore. You don't know what that is. Oh, put your eyes through here now. You don't want to go through that long line? Buy Clear. All you have to do is come and look into it. And you'll go right through. And you're like, oh, okay. And now everybody in the Clear line, and you still got to wait. What a mess. And these people would do anything it takes for themselves, and especially to stay in power. They love money and power more than they love God. They don't love God, period. It's about money and power. Whatever they can do, they will say it and do it in order to maintain control over you so that they could get money and perceived power. Our freedom is over. I remember maybe a couple of years ago now when I started saying that my country is gone. It's no longer tis of thee. And people got upset. There were some people like, what do you mean it's gone? What am I fight for then? Why fight if it's gone? Your fight is not working because you're fighting in the wrong way. There is a proper way to fight, but that proper way of fighting is gone now. And it's just two devils fighting against one another, and no one is winning. The devil's winning. One other thing, and then I'll take your calls at 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE, Jesse, Jesse. Here's another thing I want to promise you. I'm not making this up. there's so many worse things that my country have done now to make sure that it never returns. One is to destroy the family, weaken the men, put women in so-called position of power because they know that women were not created to lead, but to follow, and they don't have power. And that you can control them by making them feel like they're important. And if you notice, women work overtime to make sure you don't say anything that contradicts how important they are. And they constantly remind themselves how smart and how strong they are. Because intellectually, they don't want to forget that they're not strong. So they constantly remind themselves. And on top of all that, more proof my country is not coming back. And one of the worst mistakes America has ever made, it's worse than slavery. Though I don't see slavery as a bad thing. I'm just using that because that's what all the other weak people say. It's worse than Jim Crow, it's worse than the Civil Rights Movement, it's worse than anything. Was to allow liberal black females to get into government and so-called position of power, to allow them to become mayors and DAs and police and so-called council females and city council females and all that. It was especially the black ones. Because number one is the black one is already on an ego trip thinking she a queen, right? Queen of hell, but they call it heaven. But they have made a horrible mistake in allowing black females to be in a position of decision-making in our country. The fire department, according to a report over there in New York, booed the so-called black female DA, whatever she is over there. And they're in trouble for booing a black female. But that's not the only story I have for you. 888-7753-773. Let me take a quick break. And I'll be back and finish this one story, then your phone calls and super chats. Back in a moment. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature.
She thinks I'm a little lazy. I think she's a little crazy. We like summer and we like spring, watching wrestling in the ring. She ain't shy, she speaks her mind, tough as nails and smooth as wine. We burn hot as kerosene, baby, we got our own thing. She ain't skinny and I ain't tall, and that don't bother us at all. I run naked through the yard, she flash every police car, drinking wine and getting tired, and shooting out the damn street lights. How does she put up with me? Oh, baby, we got our own thing. We got our own thing. We don't need no rain.
Okay, welcome back. 888-7753-773. I hope you had a chance to catch my appearance on Fox News last night with Trace Gallagher talking about this whole black people leaving the Democratic Party. It was interesting on Fox News. So if you didn't catch it last night, see if you can find it today. Trace Gallagher on the Fox News channel last night at 8-something p.m.
Amazing.
Pacific time. And the Hake report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning. James Hake is on fire. The guy with the good hair. And after the Hake report, Joel Friday TV, he black. Joel Friday TV at 11 a.m. And then the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby at 12 noon today. Amazing. So quickly, let me show you another, why I say one of the horrible mistakes America has made in putting black liberal females, any woman period, but especially black females, in position of power. Look at the children they raise. They don't raise happy children. Angry, violent, emotional children. Carjacking children. Snack and grab children. Beating up white people, black children, right? And these black females, they can give one hoop and neither a holler about America. It's all about them. The individual herself, never about the country, just like they don't care about the children. Black females can care less about the black man's children. Zero. They have no love. Zero love. And they are screwing our country up with joy. And they are going after the white man like 90, going north. And whatever it takes to maintain that position, because it's not like real power, they would do it. It doesn't matter how it affects the taxpayers. I want to show you an example of an evil black female who would say and do anything. She's just one of them to stay in position of control. This is so ridiculous. Even in her thirst for power and money, I don't know how she did it, but she doesn't care. Y'all have made a horrible mistake putting black females in control of America. Even we black males, but especially the black female, because the weak black male is just the offspring of the weak black female. Evil comes through the woman. This is so ridiculous. But she said it, according to this report, and she said it, I believe, in order to try to maintain power. DC, this is from DCPatriot.com. Democratic Representative Barbara Lee ignited. And this is why these women are putting in these females are put in these positions, because the people who are putting them there, they know that these people help, that these black females will help destroy America. The gates of hell come through the woman. Not the man, but through the woman. And the gates of hell that's in the man came through the woman, his mama. But anyway, I divert. DCPatriot.com. Democratic so-called Representative Barbara Lee ignited a firestorm of debate by proposing a staggering increase in the federal minimum wage to $50 per hour. Watch this from KTLA and TikTok.
you're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage. That's 7 times the current national minimum wage of $7.25 an hour.
I know what worker productivity means, and that means that you have to make sure that your employees are taken care of and have a living wage. $127,000 for a family of 4 is just barely enough to get by. Another survey very recently, $104,000 for a family of 1. Barely enough to get by. Low income because of the affordability crisis. And so just do the math. Just do the math.
She is my girl because she is pushing the overtone window in the correct direction. I want a Spitfire black woman from Oakland to come out guns blazing with $50 minimum wage because that is what we need to survive. Let's start the conversation there.
So you still want female in position of power? Females? It's not in the woman's nature logically to make logical decisions. It's not there. It's just not there. It wasn't created that way. Until she's born again of the Father, then she would develop the Father's mindset, which is a logical mindset. You saw how evil Barbara Lee looked, right? She threw out $50 minimum. She gonna tell a business, you got to pay some lazy bum $50 an hour to sweep the floor, to make a stupid hamburger. The galls, the audacity, the nerve, the gonad. But she did it because she was trying to stay in her position. And she figured that if I tell the people you're going to get $50 an hour, they're going to vote for me. Just like that stupid female right after her. What has happened to America? The government has no business telling a private company if they paid a dime, the company has a right to do it. If you don't want to work for a company that pay a dime an hour, you don't have to. And it's either the company loss or gain. But they have the right to make that decision. I saw the same mess happening during the so-called civil rights movement, which was the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks. They are forcing white people to let the blacks into their private business, private cafes and things like that. And even the older blacks back then were like, what the? You can't tell somebody what to do with their own business. Dumb, evil, wicked Barbara Lee suggested $50 an hour for minimum wage. Thank God she's gone. This time it didn't work. Rollcall.com is reporting that after more than a quarter century of advocating for progressive values in the House, so-called, they don't say so-called, I say so-called Representative Barbara Lee will lead Congress in January after losing her bid for Senate. There is a God. I want my America back. But it's been set up to make sure it never returns. If you want to destroy a family, an educational system, a government, automobiles, put the female in charge. It's over. This evil, wicked woman suggested $50 an hour. Federal minimum wage. Amazing, huh? And most people in America, not, I don't know about most, a whole lot of heap of Americans are lazy now. They don't want to work. They do not want to work. Can you imagine paying a lazy person $50 an hour? Ain't that much government in the world. Jessica is the first time called out of Florida. Jessica, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Jessica.
I was introduced to you from the Roseanne Barr podcast, and I love just listening to you and everything that you had to say.
That was an amazing discussion with Roseanne Barr. And for those who haven't seen it, check out Roseanne Barr podcast. It's available on YouTube and Rumble.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to formulate my question, but I am the smartest dumb woman you could ever meet. And I'm a lot similar to a lot of my friends who bought this lie that the woman needs to put her head down and go to work and, you know, we don't need men. And here's where we're all at as 42-year-old women, 42-year-old women. We are childless, we don't have a husband, and we're miserable.
Yeah.
And we're not bad looking, and we're good women. And so now what are we doing? We're facing our biological clock. And so where do we go? We go and we say, do we need to get artificially inseminated?
I know. What a mess.
That's where we're at. And so seriously, that's what and it's not being talked about. Me and a handful of my friends are up against. And I just don't know if we should do it. I mean, what do we do? Because they push us up against the biological clock, and then it's game over.
How did you fall for the trick?
My mother.
Uh-huh. As always, the mother.
My mother, and fair to her, was raised by parents who were not there for her. So she picked herself up and she said, never trust a man for anything.
Wow.
And so she worked really hard and she said, you know, you've got to be Miss Independent. You've got to do everything. And so I listened.
What an evil woman. Have you forgiven her for that?
You know, it's interesting, and that's why I so appreciate your work. I have forgiven her for that.
You told
her? But now
her?
I'm working to forgive my father.
Let me ask this first. Did you tell your mother you forgive her for the trap she imposed upon you?
You know what? I have not said those exact words.
So then why do you, what did you, when you went to her, what did you say?
Well, this was before I heard specifically what you're suggesting to say, but, you know, I just kind of asked her questions and tried to understand where she was coming from. And I guess through that work, I was feeling compassion and forgiveness and understanding for her, but I don't know that I specifically told her, I forgive you for trapping me into this mess that I'm in. She hated being a mother.
Amazing. You got to face her and apologize for resenting her for what she's done to you. And then God will forgive you, and it will be like you have no past or future, and life will become amazing.
Wow. Okay.
It will. God will bring you into the kingdom of His presence, and that's where life really is, right here, right now, all the time. I'm telling you, Jessica, it will be as though you have no past. You'll see that you have never done anything wrong in your whole life, that you're not guilty or innocent, that you have never been in charge of your own life. But you got to face your mother, shaking in your boots. You got to face her, expecting nothing from her, but God will forgive you whether she admit her wrongdoing or not. That's on her. That's in her life. Let her stay in her hell. But if you want to be free, you got to forgive.
Okay. Well, I'll do anything now.
Yeah. And then the idea of being 40-something, I'm not going to have kids, I got to have artificial insemination, all that mess. It will disappear from your mind, and the idea of age would disappear because God is not into age. And God can make you have a baby as Sarah did at 99. But you're in a fallen state, so you're concerned about that. That's the last thing you need to be concerned about.
Okay.
And your father, you said you need to forgive your father?
Well, of course I was Daddy's girl, but what I realized is he never protected me from her.
Yes.
I have to accept he was a weak man.
Yes.
And that pains me to say, but it's true.
But, yeah, you have to forgive him. He was married to his mother. Your mother was his mother because you become attracted to what you hate. And he was married to his mother, so he loved you. He just couldn't protect you from your mother because he was afraid of her.
Mm.
So you got to forgive your father as well. And if you don't forgive your father, you're never going to know God.
Yeah.
What a mess!
What a mess is right. But you're offering us hope just because you're speaking it how it is, and we need more voices out there like yours. It's amazing. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. And once you go and forgive, you will become another voice for truth. And not your truth or my truth, but God's truth. It will work through you. You will see it. And it's nothing like what you can imagine that it is, because all thoughts are all lies all the time. And the thoughts, the imagination can never imagine. It can never know God. It just know about God, but it doesn't know God at all.
Mm. Amen.
And do the silent prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. And I'm telling you, Jessica, you will finally have a life.
Well, that's exciting. I'd like one. I really would.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're mostly good women. We're mostly we're like, how did we miss this? You know.
Well, what's good when you say we're mostly good women? What's good about the woman?
You know, it's really, at the end of the day, it's our hearts. It's the light we bring. We get into this logical mind and try to control it, and we become like men, and we feel this contraction in our bodies and this anger come up to our brain, and we know that's not where it is. But when we get together and we're just basking in that feminine energy, that's when our light shines.
So
that's
good?
What I'm talking about.
What's good about the woman? You just described the hell in her. What's good about her?
Oh, okay. Her loving nature, her nurture.
The woman doesn't have a loving nature.
Ah.
That's why everything's screwed up.
That's true. Maybe is it her nurture, her desire to nurture?
If it was done with love, but her desire to nurture is done with anger, and her nurture is controlling.
Mm.
And she called hate love.
I see, because there's expectation and resentment there.
Yes.
Mm.
Absolutely. And when the kid grow up, if that child don't nurture her back, that child in trouble.
Ooh.
I nurtured you. I had you. I nurtured you. Now you're not going to wish at me? What the?
Well, what do you think is good about the woman? I'd love to hear your perspective.
0.
Okay. Well, that's liberating. Good, I don't have to worry about it.
0. But what's going to happen if you work on yourself and you overcome the spirit of your mother, which is evil, and forgive your father, then God would take away that old nature, which is of the devil, and he will replace it with his nature, which is good. And then the good nature of God will work through you, and that's what will be good. It won't be you, but you would have switched nature from hate to love, and that nature will work through you. And everything you do will be about love. And love is not a feeling. It is God's love is a dispassionate love, and Satan's love is a passionate feeling, and they call hate love.
Mm.
What a mess.
What a mess. It is a mess.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. But that's good. Okay.
But you can work on it because God is not judging you at all. He knows it was never you, but this thing that made a home in your mind and emotion, and that has been controlling you. The real you, Jessica, has never done anything wrong in your whole life. You're not guilty or innocent. You're neither a saint nor a sinner. You're neither any of those things that you think that you are. You're not good nor bad. You're not up nor down. You just have identified with the wrong identities in your mind and emotion, and you didn't know it.
Yeah, I hear that. I feel that.
And now that you want it, the fact that you see where I'm coming from a little bit is God is with you. He allowing you to see it because you can't see it on your own. You have to want to see it, and He will allow you to see it. And seeing it will make you free from the prison of your imagination. He will set you free from that. It's nothing you can do on your own, but want the truth, and you open it up yourself so the truth can come in and save you from the lie, save you from hell.
Oh, amen. I receive it.
So go work on yourself, do the silent prayer, and watch you, the not you. You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your ideas. You're not the plans. You're none of those things. Watch them, and they will be taken away from you.
Okay, well, I'm on it. Thank you.
Let me know how it goes, all right?
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Keep on. Bye-bye.
I will. How come I'm hearing music? Look what time it is. Oh, it is? Oh, okay. Amazing. Let me take a break. 2 more hours to go. When I come back, straight to your calls and super chats. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news, but the hate news. The guy with the good hair? I'll be back in a moment. 2 more hours to go. So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer.
I know some people have called in and they wonder if the silent prayer is working. And I just want to take a second and to tell them that it works. You just have to stick with it.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I started doing before I even forgave my parents. And I was so depressed and suicidal at some times that I just would have to stop in the middle of my job or whatever I was doing and go into the silent prayer. And it really does help. Like, I don't have those anymore.
Amazing. You haven't seen anything yet. Doubt every thought. Bring every thought into captivity. Just let them all pass. Don't judge them. You haven't seen anything. It gets better and better and better and easier, easier, easier. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church.
Super Tuesday Part 2 is happening today, I guess. That's a bunch of primaries. And Don't Say Gay. Remember that bill in Florida? It's back in the mess. It's back in the mainstream media. It's not even what it really is. Evil Joe's evil budget. Crooked Joe. I have the news on it. This is the end of hour 1 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It is Country and Western Tuesday, March 12th, AD 2024. There is one line open. You can call in right now during Hake News, not fake news. Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, reports that voters in Georgia, Hawaii, Mississippi, and Washington State will cast ballots today in a lineup of key primary elections. Crooked Joe Biden and our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, are at their party's likely nominees after dominating their respective Republican and Democrat primaries on Super Tuesday last Tuesday. That was the real one. It's widely expected that following these contests today, Trump will attain the 1,215 delegates needed to clinch the Republican nomination, and Biden will get the 1,968 delegates required to clinch the Demon Rat nomination, officially setting up a rematch in November between the two rivals, if Biden makes it to that point. Or Trump, you know. You never know. This will mark the first rematch between a current and former president since 1892. Nice. And Don't Say Gay. What's back in the spotlight? The Sunshine State, Florida. Yesterday, Florida education officials and so-called civil rights attorneys, communists, reached a settlement over a parental rights law that critics dubbed as "Don't Say Gay." Now the law prohibits instruction on gender misidentity and sexual disorientation on public schools, right? Now, the settlement clarifies that students and teachers can discuss these topics in the classroom as long as they are not part of a formal lesson. What? That sounds like a loophole that they're going to exploit. The deal also says the law only applies to library books that are used as official classroom materials. What a mess. The agreement comes after Governor Ron DeSantis, Republican from Florida, signed the bill into law about 2 years ago, creating confusion among parents, students, and teachers. Maybe you should take your children out of the public schools. Selfish parents, right? DeSantis and LGBTQIA+ activists in the state are hailing the settlement as a win. Both sides. Interesting. And who has a long wish list? Crooked Joe Biden, the so-called president. The far-left female-run outlet The Skim reports yesterday Crooked Joe released his budget for the fiscal year of 2025, or his administration did. What's he doing? I doubt that he's working on this stuff. Could be wrong. The proposal faces an uphill battle in Congress, calls on lawmakers to sign off on universal pre-kindergarten, preschool for 4-year-olds. They want your children at 4 years old, sickos. Restore the child tax credit expansion, provide 12 weeks of paid so-called family leave, and give first-time home buyers a tax credit. Also plans to cut $3 trillion from the national debt, supposedly, in the next decade by taxing the so-called wealthy and corporations. The proposal is similar to the plan Congress struck down last year. House Republicans dismissed the president's new budget, of course, the Crooked Joe. It comes as Crooked Joe that's Biden, trying to convince voters to give him a second term in office, as you know. Airbnb hates hosts. Did you know this? Who can no longer watch you? Your Airbnb host, if you are an Airbnb renter. Yesterday, the company banned the use of indoor security cameras across their listings globally. If you believe that it is a globe, I do. Previously, Airbnb hosts could put those cameras in common areas as long as they disclosed it in the listing. Airbnb said most hosts don't use indoor security cameras, so the policy shouldn't affect many listings. Cameras have to be out of homes by the end of April. In recent years, travelers have shared stories of finding hidden cameras in short-term rentals, has landed Airbnb hosts in court. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 2.
To stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show already. You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE, Jesse, Jesse. My biblical question for this week, and it's a doozy. My biblical question, can you see the contradiction? Can you see the contradiction between the way you think and the way you are? Can you see the contradiction between the way you think and the way you are? That's an amazing question. Once you really examine yourself, you're going to be like, wow, that was an amazing question. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're busy and you can't sit and watch the show right now, you can podcast later, but you could be listening live while you're carjacking, beating up white people, or knocking out Asians, or robbing, whatever. Or you're white and you're running, or whatever. Buying some fentanyl. You still be listening on your iPhone, iPad by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. Follow us, JLP Talk on X and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. JLP Talk on X and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. Like, follow, ring the bell, and blah, blah, blah. Subscribe. To donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. And Bond JLP on Cash App. Bond JLP on Cash App. It's Tuesday. It's the second hour of the show, Tuesday. It is Country and Western Tuesday. Bring back, oh, bring back my country to me. Bring back my country to What the? me. Who let the dogs out? Amazing. Amazing. I'm going to get to your super chats here in a minute. I want to go to, is it Terrell? A first-time caller out of Washington, D.C. Terrell, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Jesse?
All is well, Terrell.
Hey, I was calling you. I had a few questions for you.
Okay.
Know, if you don't mind me asking. I've been watching your show for a little while. I just want to see why, you see things the way you do.
Okay.
So, number one, do you or do you not like black people? I got to ask that first.
Do I like black people?
Yeah.
I do. I love black people.
Okay. Do you like white people as well?
I love white people.
Okay, so you love all people.
I love all people. There's not one that I don't love.
Okay, so in a sense, I've heard you say racism does not exist. I've heard you told people they've been lied to, and I guess the things that we read in the history books didn't really happen. How is so like slavery never happened in America?
Slavery did happen, but it happens years and years ago, and it has nothing to do with you or me or any other white people or black people who are alive today. And I promise you, it has not affected neither blacks nor whites at all in America today.
So when you say it hasn't affected us at all today, you mean in 2024, or do you mean from the last year of slavery actually existing until 2024?
It was something like 150 years ago, give or take, that slavery existed. When it ended,
and you saying it has not affected anybody?
Right. When it ended 150 years ago, it was over.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Is that what you said?
Amazing. Do you believe that slavery has affected your life?
Yes.
In what way?
So I'm going to say a different way than you probably have heard. So today, yes, I have opportunities to get out here and work, to go to whatever school I want. And I do feel like a lot of people try to play the victim role and say that this white man is holding me back, and that's not the case. You're just lazy and you don't want to work. So I agree with you on that point. But I would say psychologically, if you get where I'm going with that, mentally, slavery has affected the minds of millions in America, black and white.
How has slavery affected your mind psychologically?
So it affected my mind specifically because just think about if you're younger. When you're a child, your mind is like a sponge. It soaks up everything that, in a sense, it come in contact with. So in school, we've always learned that our people were enslaved, they were beat. I don't know what words I can really say. I don't want to say, too much of what happened, but we know what they say happened during that time.
Right.
So as a child, when you hear those things, it's like subconsciously in your mind. Even still, when you're a teenager, you're still a child. I'm 23 right now. So really, I feel like I'm still a child in a sense. I mean, I feel like I'm a grown man. I work and I do for myself, but I still feel like I'm a child.
So did slavery do that to you, or the people who told you those lies did that to you?
Well, I want to know how you say that they are lies.
So first of all, answer that first, then I explain that. Did slavery psychologically screw you up, or the people who told you those things screwed you up psychologically?
I believe it was because of slavery. You want to know why I say that? Because the people would have never told me that if slavery never happened.
Did slavery tell you that, or the people told you that?
Slavery did it. Like, slavery actually happened. Like, it was an action that happened.
Did slavery tell you that, or did the people tell you that?
The people told me what happened in slavery.
Did the slavery tell you that, or did the people tell you that?
You mean like my teachers and stuff I learned in school?
Whoever told you all that stuff, was it the people who told you that, or slavery told you that?
The people told me that.
Had you never heard those things from people, would you have been psychologically damaged?
You said, have I who?
Had you never heard those things from your teacher or anyone else, would you have been psychologically damaged about slavery?
I can't say what would have happened because that's not the life that I'm living. So
if you have never, smoke on it for a minute then. If you had never heard anything about slavery, would you have the impression that you have about slavery right now?
No.
I rest my case.
No.
So slavery didn't do it. It's the people who told you that crap did it to you, especially with you being young.
So wait a minute, though. So you saying just because if I never heard about slavery, that you saying I wouldn't have basically the mindset that I have about it. But what if I got into the world today, in which I have, and I work in certain places, and I've been treated different by a white man? I see that a white man treats a white man better than he treats me. You don't think just in my mind it will come that, hey, why does he treat his kind or this specific person better than he treats my kind and me?
I promise you, you would not have thought that. You may would have seen that the guy was unfair, but you would not have thought, how did he treat my kind better than he treat me? You would have seen it as wrong. Just like you see when black people treat you wrong, you don't think, how they treated my kind as better, worse than their kind. You would have saw it as right or wrong. You would have seen all issues in that way, and you would have not thought of slavery. You would not have said it was slavery or because I'm black or any of those things. You would just seen that it was wrong.
I don't know. I had to sit and ponder on that one. I had to think about that one.
Because you only compared it to what you've been lied to about slavery. So the white man treated me this way because of slavery. Black people treat you worse than white people treat you.
You saying in today's day?
Period.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Black people become an independent free thinker. You see.
No, I believe I am an independent free thinker.
No, you think like the blacks knew about slavery. Then when you were growing up, did the people who told you about slavery, did they tell you that it was the Arabs who went to Mommy Africa and bought blacks from other black people who were aristocrats. They had money and they owned everything. They controlled the other black. They bought them.
Transfer.
Did they tell you that it was the Arabs who did that?
So you saying basically the Arabs were the first?
Did they tell you that it was the Arabs who bought you from the blacks and sold you to slavery?
Yes, I know it was black people behind it as well. I'm not denying that. That's something that I'm gonna be a realist about. It was black people behind it as well.
And then
I'm not lying.
You know that black people own slaves in America?
Black people own now that you would have to show me something. Just you could give me a link, a website. You would have to show me a black person owning another black slave.
Oh yeah, some of the first black owners of owner of slavery. James, where is that city in that state in that you and Big Bart were talking about? Some of the first owners of slavery were black people in America. And did you know, we're going to get that information for you here. Did you know
slavery or was it servitude, though?
It was slavery.
That's a different thing, though. Slavery and servitude is two different things.
It was slaves.
So they was castrating.
Whatever they were doing in those days, they did it too.
Black people.
Yeah.
They were whipping black people. Black people was whipping black people.
Whatever they claimed the white people were doing, they were doing it as well.
I would have to look into that some more.
They lied to you, Terrell, so that they can control you.
I feel like they gave us religion to control us.
100% right.
So why do you believe in the Bible if you know religion is to control us?
Why do you say I believe in the Bible?
Because I hear you speak about the Father. And I heard you speak about
what that had to do with the Bible?
So you are not a Bible believer. I'm sorry for assuming. Let me ask, are you a Bible believer?
No.
Okay, so what do you follow?
God.
Who is God to you?
God. He ain't the Bible. He's not the Bible. Let me do this because of time, and we're going to get that information for you and post it up somewhere because the person that has it is not at his desk right now.
Okay.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Me? Have I forgiven my mother?
Right.
Well, forgiven her for what? What has she done?
Have you forgiven her?
How do you know I had issues with my mother? You funny, Jesse. You're a funny guy. Yes, I have forgiven my mother. Yes.
You forgave your mother?
Yes.
You told her?
I'm in the process of forgiving my father now.
Have you told your mother you forgive her?
Yes, because I was disrespectful as a child. So I apologize, and I also forgave her for everything that she did.
You went and forgave your mother. What did you say to her?
I said, number one, I took accountability as the man that I am and told her that I was wrong, first and foremost. You know, I said my sorry, apologies, and that. And I forget, you said, what did I forgive her for?
Right.
I forgave her for, I want to say, lacking in some areas that I thought my mother was just supposed to be, because she was the only one there. And I just forgave her for thinking that she was supposed to be, you know, just based like God in a sense in my eyes. You know how a child will look at his mother? Like, she's supposed to be perfect.
She is supposed to be perfect. But so you forgave your mother for turning you away from your father?
Yes.
You told her that?
About that. I had before. But my father did that to himself, though.
Did you tell your mother you forgive her for turning you away from your father?
Yes, in a sense. Not like verbatim like that, but
why not?
What you mean, why not?
Why not verbatim?
Like verbatim, how you saying it word for word?
Mother, no, I'm sorry for Mama, I'm sorry for resenting you for turning me away from my father, and imposing your will on me and recreating me in your image. Why do you be precise with her?
So you trying to say I act like my mother?
Why do you be precise with her?
We had an in-depth conversation.
But you haven't forgiven her though for recreating her image.
I don't. What do you mean recreating her in her image? Are you saying I act like a woman?
Did you forgive your father for not protecting you from your mother?
That I'm not gonna lie to you. No, I have not yet. And me and him is going through something right now.
Why not forgive? Go ahead.
No, I was saying me and my father, we, because he not there, and I'm growing as a man. Like, I'm the child, he's the father. But right now, me and my father not seeing eye to eye with certain things. So.
Here's what I want you to do. Give this a good try, Terrell. And I don't want to try to prove this to you at all. I want to encourage you to go to your father and ask and listen to him. Ask him, why did he protect you from your mother? And you're going to learn something about him that's going to blow your mind and make you free.
All right, I'll give it a try.
And when you start talking, don't interrupt. Hear him through. It's going to blow your mind and make you free. Let me know how that goes. Go ahead.
You believe the man is over the woman?
No, I know that the man is supposed to be over the woman. He was created to be the head of the woman. You don't believe that?
You believe the man was here first?
Do you believe that the man is the head of the woman?
I believe he was created to lead a woman.
Do you believe that the man is the head of the woman?
I believe that, yes. I believe men are the protectors and providers, women are the nurturers. And,
do you believe that the man is the head of the woman?
Yes. Like the man should lead his woman, yes.
Do you believe the man is the head of the woman?
When you say head of the woman, I don't know what you like, the actual, like her head, no. But I mean, should the man lead the woman and his family and kids? Yes. Absolutely.
Here's that information for you. Then I got to run. This is from the University of Kentucky. History of world societies. All right? Documented 6,000 Negro slave owners in the U.S. for the year 1840. Another study found 3,777 Negro slave owners in 1830. There were Negro slave owners listed in 29 Kentucky counties, notably Kentucky African American Database.
So they lied to us.
They lied to you, man. And they lied to you to control you.
Control me in what way?
Making you
dislike white people?
Yeah. And blaming them for anything. I promise you, if you forgive your mother for turning away from your father, and forgive your father for not protecting you from your mother, and never blame anyone else for your situation in life, as an adult, you will be a free man. And you will have a clear mind, and you will not judge another person, and yet you deal with people in the right way. But you got to work on you so you can overcome the anger.
Absolutely. Where do you learn your morals and principles?
Never, ever, ever, ever learn more. You cannot learn morals and principles. They cannot be taught by another person. But if you overcome anger, you're going to enter into a special place inside of you where they exist, and you will live by them without even thinking about it. Here's the last thing, and then I got to run, but I want you to call me back once you deal with your parents. I want you to go to rebuildingtheman.com. I want you to start doing the silent prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/prayer, so you can come out of your imagination, all thoughts, all lies, all the time about anything. You've been set up.
Okay, I just went through it now. I'll check it out.
Let me know how it goes, all right?
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Amazing call, buddy.
All right.
Bye. Amazing. Super chat.
Super chats. Good morning. Over on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, C bought a coffee clarifying her statement about the white kids, culture vultures.
Okay.
They call them who wants to be like the blacks. They beat them up when they get with their men. She says the black female beat the white girl when they get with the black man.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. What a mess.
I've heard that before. You're right. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for clearing that up. Amazing.
Gregatron bought a couple of coffees. Jesse, did I hear you say nobody knows God except for one or two people? If that's true, then why is Hassan waiting on God with his dog? How can you wait on someone you don't know? It's not like a blind date.
Well, that's why he's waiting, so he can know. Amazing. Instead of assuming that he does know.
Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you.
Another from Gregatron. Also, I'm confused with the tax thing. I did my taxes last month. One of the questions was if I donated, and I said yes because of Super Chats. Should I have said no? Question mark.
What?
Should I have said no because I said yes on my taxes because I donated through Super Chats?
I don't know. Consult with because if you donate with Super Chats at rebuildingaman.com, that is a donation.
Right. Those are donations, not Super Chats, though.
Right. But if you donate, if you have your Super Chats read at Buy Me a Coffee, that's not a donation.
Right. Those are not tax-deductible donations.
Right.
Yeah. So donate to Bond for tax-deductible donations. Donate to Buy Me a Coffee or Bond JLP Cash App for to get your comments read on air.
Amazing.
Aries.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Aries 1 donated a diamond, no message, thank you.
Thank you.
Chalice bought several Cash Apps saying thank you, thank you, thank you. One generous one from Chalice, thank you.
Thank you, Chalice.
Stefan gave a Cash App saying amazing.
Amazing.
Dustin says amazing fellowship.
Amazing.
On Cash App.
Check out rebuildingaman.com/church. You have to be blind and crippled and crazy not to get something from that. It's amazing. Rebuildingaman.com/church.
Nice. Stan69 gave a diamond, says, looks like Lil JLP. Lil JLP looks like Sheriff David Clark. Cowboy smiley emoji.
That's right. All black people look alike. What the?
Indeed.
Except Joel, he's white.
Samuel bought 3 coffees. Keep on coming.
Right on. Thank you.
Stan69 with another diamond. Many folks think they should get paid for existing.
I know. What a mess.
Terrible.
Thank you.
Stan69 gave a diamond. The UN should do something with Haiti and rebuild it with the whites.
UN need to get out of America.
That would be nice.
Has the UN ever solved the war?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No.
I've never heard of, and I've looked around and asked around, so if it has, I just don't know about it. But I've asked military men too, and no one can tell me what war the UN has ever solved.
Yeah. Interesting.
What's the purpose of the UN? Except to lie to us.
Yeah.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
UN is like the mama.
Lies. Big mama, too.
Stan69 with a couple diamonds. Why do most mixed people have a non-white father? Are white women being guilted into race mixing?
Why does...
Most mixed people have a non-white father.
What does that mean?
He's saying that people who are mixed with white and something else, it's usually white women getting with some other race, according to him.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh.
He said, why do most mixed people have a non-white father?
But if they had a white father, they wouldn't be mixed.
Yeah, they would.
If they had a white father?
A white father
they would be non-mixed.
Interracial.
What?
If a white father got with a POC woman, a WOC, woman of color, then they would be mixed too.
So he's asking why, he or she's asking why do white women get with other races?
Yeah. Are they being guilted into it?
Because white women want to be the savior. They feel sorry for the people of color. And in their feeling sorry, they think they can save them. And that's why they get involved. Then they get beat up and the money taken.
Interesting. You pay the toll. Stan69 gave another diamond. The word gay has been corrupted since the 70s. Indeed, it used to just mean happy.
I'm about to say that. Remember, it used to be happy. Now you can't even say you're gay.
I know. There's been people named gay, like gals. Cop Dog 2 gave
Thank you, by the way.
A chat on Twitch, twitch.tv/JLP Talk. I love you, Jesse.
Thank you. I love you back.
Louise.
I love you back.
Louis says, good morning, crew. Amazing show on Cash App.
Thank
on
you.
JLP.
Appreciate your support.
Someone bought a coffee. Hi, Jesse. What should a man do when the man says, what should a woman do when the man says, kill the baby in the womb?
Don't do it.
Duh.
If the man say kill the baby, but you don't, just say, okay, bye, man. I ain't taking no life for you. What's up?
Yep. Sure.
She will have to live with that guilt. Plus, it's evil. Thank you.
Charles bought a coffee. Hey, Jesse, tell that caller Terrell, not only did blacks own slaves, some of them enslaved their own family members. Indians owned black slaves as well. Wake up.
It's also a good conversation with Terrell, too, about that. And I love that comment about if he had never been told about slavery, would he think about slavery like that? He's only thinking that way. Slavery didn't come over and teach him that. It's the liars that's pushing slavery for personal gain that told him that. Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
Thank you.
WD41 gave a diamond and no message. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you, guys. I do believe that that's all for now.
Amazing. Thank you. It's amazing how evil the human heart is. When Christ said the human heart is evil and don't trust it, he wasn't playing around. Antonio, a first-time call out of Florida. Antonio, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Yeah. Good morning, Jesse. Good morning. It's my first time calling you. Huge fan of yours since 5 years, and I think the younger generation should hear you.
Thank you, Antonio. I appreciate that.
So my question is, I came to America 30 years ago because I loved freedom. I loved real man culture like free gun, free speech. But in the last 20 years, America is dying with these lesbians, illegal aliens, the border open.
Antonio, hold on for a minute. Your phone is not clear. I have Sean talk to you while I take a quick break. And when I come back, we'll get back to Antonio and the rest of your callers, right? Let me take a quick break. Back in a moment. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse. Back in a moment. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. 888-7753-773. Hake, before you leave the room, did you see my interview on Fox News last night with Trace Gallagher?
I did.
How was it?
Short and sweet.
No, nice, huh?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Talked about how even the blacks are starting to really suffer economically and all that, and with crime and all that stuff too, and illegals and immigrants under Biden.
And even under Barack Obama, they expected something from Barack Obama. The blacks did, but they didn't get it.
Yeah.
So nobody care about the blacks.
Yep, except for Trump.
Right. Amazing. Check that out on Fox News from last night. Trace Gallagher. It was on at 8 in the 8 o'clock hour, 8 to 9 hour Pacific time.
Fox News at night, something like that.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Nice.
The Hake Report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning, right after my show. TheHakeReport.com. And then, what are you talking about today?
Well, I will touch on. I wrote it down. I forget. It'll be fun stuff. J.K. Rowling is getting charged with transphobia.
Who is J.K. Rowling?
She's the one woman who wrote Harry Potter.
Oh, it's a woman?
Yeah.
Oh, you said J.K. I thought of a male.
Right.
She wrote what?
She wrote those Harry Potter books. She's Christian.
She getting caught with what?
She's getting charged with transphobia or something like that, or accused of transphobia.
I thought they liked her.
Which they have as a crime.
I thought they liked her.
Oh, yeah, she's a liberal. She's a feminist, but she's a TERF.
What does that mean?
Trans-exclusionary radical feminist.
But she didn't know anything about all that when she was writing all those books and things.
Well, her books are not what's catching her with these charges. It's her tweets and stuff.
What the?
So in the UK, you don't have freedom of speech, right?
Oh, she live over there?
They have hate speech laws. Yeah, I think so. Something like that. And so you're not supposed to criticize certain people. And
so you're going to be dealing with that.
Yeah. I may also touch on something that Joel Friday said, because it's along the same lines of hate and disrespect and stuff like that. Joel Friday was talking about this Charlie Kirk guy, and Charlie Kirk was talking with these dirty video women.
You're right, a mess.
But it's so interesting. So
I was like, what the?
Yep.
Joel Friday TV is right after the Hake Report at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then after that, the American Anchor Baby.
Yeah.
One last thing, James. Tell people how to find out about the black slave owners.
Okay, so if you
how
go
isn't
to...
that Big Bum able to get all this good information? He's black.
I know. He's not lazy.
Evidently.
Yeah. Or trifling.
Evidently.
University of Kentucky. African American owners of enslaved persons in Kentucky is the name of the article or post on the NKAA University of Kentucky website. NKAA is Notable Kentucky African Americans Database. Lord. So it's the University of Kentucky .edu. NKAA.uky.edu/NKAA.
That's too much information.
I know. But anyway, it's a University of Kentucky. Black slave owners.
Nice. Thank you, Hake.
Yep.
Let me go quickly back to Antonio. Let me give it another try here. Antonio.
Can you hear me now, Jesse?
Yes, sir. And so you came to America 30 years ago. You really liked the way America was then, and now that it's weak. And your question is what?
My question is not. The story continues. So now it has become weak with the illegal alien, the border open. It's really sad.
Right. It is.
It's really sad, like what has happened. And I don't even think Trump is the answer, because you read his tweet, his Truth Social post. He said the vaccine is good. I was like, oh my God, Trump, what are you doing?
And so your question is what?
My question is, how can we bring back America?
When men return back to their natural state of being, and when they overcome fear, then America will be America again. But as long as men are afraid and they allow women to take over, America doesn't have a chance.
I think they are letting women take over everything, the TV,
Yeah.
the sports. I'm Italian, so I watch a little football, soccer, and now the referee is even woman.
I know.
And it's a mess.
And they are doing that because they do not want America to return to being strong and being the light on the hill, the shining light on the hill. They don't want that, so they're using the women, knowing that the hell comes through the woman, and they are using her to destroy America. And that's what it's all about. And so, but when men overcome fear, that would change immediately.
The only way I think man can overcome fear is by believing in God. Because when you believe in God, have fear, and fear comes to the heart. But that fear is good fear. So you do the right thing, you become the leader of the family, and your woman becomes the wife, and you make the baby with her, and she
Absolutely. Amazing.
that's home. That's the job. But another thing is, have you heard about this Hannah? This is trending, and all conservatives are now saying she's a good girl. We all want her wife, but she is a mad. She does fishing. She does hunting.
Who is that?
This Hannah girl is
from India.
Trending on Twitter.
No, we don't.
Hannah.
Anna.
Hannah.
Hannah.
Yes, it's on Twitter. This some lady posted this.
Oh,
Hannah
no.
is
I'm not familiar with that. I'll definitely look into it.
Yes,
I've got to
because-
run and tell you because your phone is not clear, but I got to run because call me again, all right?
Okay, thank you, Jesse,
You're
so
welcome.
much. Like you are a hero, and we need more men like you. And God bless America.
Thank you, man. God bless America. Call me again. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Let me go to a first-time caller, Greg, out of Florida. There is a line open, folks. Greg, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Jesse?
Oh.
I just started watching your videos, man, and oh my God, you are just as right as you are hilarious.
Amazing. Thank you.
Amazing. What a mess.
What a mess.
Okay, so I have two questions for you, man.
All right.
Okay, so my first question is, you say that we need to forgive our mothers and find peace and guidance within our fathers, correct?
Right. You need to forgive your mother and your father in order to have perfect peace.
That's what I'm kind of going through now, man. And I was just about to ask that, because I think that I had a very strong-willed and angry grandmother who was so broken that she instilled those qualities into my father. And my father has alpha-like qualities. He's a great provider. He was always there when I was young and everything. But as I've gotten older and turned into an adult, it just seems as if, I don't know, there's a lot of resentment because he was so there for me that I became so dependent on him. Beta.
When you say he was so there for you, he mothered you. He did too much for you.
Yeah, he really did way too much for me, and I'm trying to forgive him. And every time I guess I just don't sit down and talk with him about the forgiveness. I'm more like yelling at him because I don't like the way he lives his life, and he doesn't like the way I live mine. But it's not like he lives a righteous life. Sort of like your biblical question, it's just I ask myself that question every day because like it holds you accountable. I think.
But why do you care either way how he lived his life and not just be concerned about your life? You don't have a right to neither like or dislike the way he lived his life.
I just feel like if he's going to judge me on mine when he has extreme issues that kind of like paralyze him, it paralyzes him just as much as it paralyzes me.
But the reason you're being judged is because you're judging, and whomever judge shall be judged. So what you're doing to him, you're doing it to yourself. Whatever he has done or is doing or will do has nothing to do with you. But because you were judging him, you can't overcome your own issues.
You might be right, Jesse.
Just think about tell me one thing about you that gives you the right to judge your father or anyone.
I just maybe it's an ego trip for me. It's like he likes to paint a picture of me being a bad person because he doesn't like to own up to his own issues.
But you're doing the same thing to him. You're doing the same thing to him. Tell me what gives you the right to judge your father or anyone, especially your father. What gives you the right to judge, to play God?
I guess I don't have the right, man.
Then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it?
I guess I need them to know that I'm forgiving them for a certain reason, and I want them to understand that reason. Even if they don't like it, they would understand it because I would do that for them.
But how will they know that you're forgiving them when you're judging them?
You're silencing me, man. You're right. You're right, I guess.
No, that was a question.
Yeah, I don't even know how to answer that. You answer amazing You ask amazing questions that I don't even know how to answer, but it's making me look at myself.
Right on. And that's what I want for you, to look at yourself if you want to be free. Because all of your issues has nothing to do with your father at all or anyone else at this point. It has everything to do with you not knowing yourself and not forgiving.
What if you can give me like at least one or two, maybe three, like steps to forgiveness, so I could start forgiving them and getting right with peace in my own mind, because it's driving me crazy.
Number one, to see that you're no good. You're no good. And seeing that you're no good would allow you to see that you have no right to judge other no good people, right? And then when you see that, you'll go and apologize to your father and your mother for resenting them, because you will realize you can't help but be no good. You can't change your own nature. They can't change theirs. You're only doing what you can do. They only did what they can do. And you
But
will
you think that all people are inherently like bad?
Every human being you know is evil. Every human being you will ever know. Every human being you ever laid your eyes on is evil until they overcome evil by forgiving.
So what would you say about the guy? I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Hacksaw Ridge. That guy was in the army, and I guess it was whatever his religion was. He didn't like to bring a weapon into battle, but he saved. I mean, just on the will of God, he saved, and himself, he saved like 30 men off of a cliff. What do you say about that?
He was evil.
What do you say about
He was evil.
Was it a selfish act to
That was for him to get the thrill. It wasn't for the other people that he, quote unquote, saved from a cliff. It was for the thrill of it. He wanted a thrill because he was evil.
Whoa.
People would jump off buildings to get a thrill. Wives beat their husbands all for the thrill of it. Mothers turn children against the fathers by keeping the children from the father just for the thrill of it. Everyone you know is evil. The heart of human beings are evil, and you should not trust not one.
Even if it's somebody like you that has full peace and complete peace?
Don't trust me. Even with the words I speak, let them go in one ear, out the other, until you can see it for yourself. Then you shall know the truth.
And this kind of leads me into my next question of like emotions and being attached to good people. Like, you think so? I've only watched just a week's full of your videos, but I binge watch it. And I believe you say that all emotions are evil.
Yes. So-called good ones and bad ones are evil. Because if you notice, once you get to know yourself, Greg, you're going to feel good sometimes, and you feel like everything is just fine. And as soon as you're feeling good, say going to bring you down with something bad, a bad idea or a bad person or something. Now you're feeling bad, fear or something. And then as soon as you feel bad, he's going to give you a so-called good idea, a good thought, or somebody going to do something nice for you, and you're going to feel good. And then as soon as you do that, you feel bad again. Fear, worry, loneliness, whatever. And you're up and down to a point you want to jump off a bridge after a while. Because so-called good feelings are evil, and so-called bad feelings are evil. No such thing as good feeling. And they all come from the imagination. And the imagination, all thoughts are all lies all the time. The imagination is wicked.
That's definitely true. Well, man, I've been watching all your videos, and I really appreciate what you've been putting out. I mean,
but you got...
I just needed to, what's that?
No, finish your point.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I've never even called into any radio show, any podcast, anything ever, but I just felt compelled to ask you a few questions. I'm sure I'm going to be a caller that keeps calling back because you keep opening my mind to new ways of thinking. Because I've been all over the place with my religion, and right now I'm agnostic, but I'm surrounding myself with Christians and people that are trying to bring me back into at least, because I grew up Catholic, but I don't know. I think Christianity is a lot less judgy and a lot more cut dry and understanding, And what you've been preaching is
Christianity itself is that way, but Christians are the most judgmental people on this side of heaven. I wouldn't surround myself with them if I were you. I would just work on me from within and let God guide you, and He'll put the right people in your life, and they will come and go, and you'll be fine. But do not surround yourself with Christians. They will destroy you. All in the name of Jesus.
Okay.
So that's not the answer to surround yourself with so-called Christians. The answer is to see that you're wrong for resenting your parents. They couldn't help themselves. And when you see that you're wrong, forgive them. I'm sorry for resenting you. And God will forgive you. He will change your heart from anger to love and give you a free heart. And then He will change your nature, the imagination. He will take that away from you and give you a clear mind, and you will have paradise on earth.
I'll take that advice, man, for sure.
Have you forgiven your mother?
I've forgiven her because the way I look at it, I have forgiven her, but I've forgiven her because of my father being such a heavy influence. I think he kind of he runs the house, you know what I mean? He's always run the house. He's always run his woman, from what I can see. It's like she waits on him hand and foot kind of thing. So it's just, I resent her for that because it's made him into a...
So you resent your mother because she obeyed your father?
To the point of where yes, I did. Yes, I do. Because I think that it has weakened him.
And so your mother obeying your father, weakening your father, I don't understand how that can be.
One situation would be my dad is a very big man, always has been. And because he's big, he's always able to, and he's a provider, and he's just a great businessman. Even, the entire community that we live in, anywhere we go, anybody comes to him for any business decisions or asking for advice, anything. So he's sort of like a larger than life kind of guy. So when he's like, oh, get me water, get me this, get me that, give me this, give me that, when he can get up and go get it himself, it makes him weaker when he doesn't get up to get himself.
So you resent your mother because she obeyed her husband?
Yeah.
Why would you resent her for obeying her husband? That's what she's supposed to be doing.
But isn't there a point where it could hinder a man's life to have that control over a woman?
No.
I agree. I agree that the man should be, head of the household and head of the woman.
But not head of the household, but head of the wife. And the wife watch over his household and his children.
Yes, I agree. I do agree with that.
So I'm not.
I agree with that structure. It's just that I think at a point where a man should know, right from wrong, like the ability to get up now has become, down to nothing. So if it's down to nothing and she can, I feel like a woman should be able to guide a man in some sort of way, because I think it helps both ways. A man.
A woman is not in a woman's nature to guide a man. Period. So you're resenting your mother for obeying her husband? You're afraid. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, it's not that I'm.
Can you hold? Are you able to hold?
What's that?
Are you able to hold on?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Hold on. Let me take a quick break. 888-7753-773. One more hour to go. When I come back, your phone calls and super chats. Hake is coming in with the hate news, not the fake news, but the Hake news. The guy with the good hair. Check out the hair on the shirt and the hair. Back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
There was a flight mishap that you may have heard about. 50 people injured. Another Boeing issue? They just don't make the workers like they used to, do they? BB's under attack from people worse than him, I think. And a TikTok ban, is it incoming? I don't know. Probably not. Haiti's a mess. And Oscars actually had good ratings, supposedly. Good, quote unquote. And the Raspberries former lead singer, is dead at 74, gone too soon, the tender age. This is the end of Hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, Country and Western, Tuesday, March 12th, AD 2024. Stay tuned for Hour 3, last hour of JLP. It's coming right up. Back to your calls. The lines are full, guys. You can start to try to call in as JLP wraps up with other callers. But in the meantime, Hake news, not fake news. After the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, the Hake Report will be live on the Hake Report, not .com, but on the alternative platforms. And, of course, Joel Friday TV. And, of course, American Anchor Baby after that. Commie Nonsense Network, CNN, and the far-left female-run outlet The Skin report on this U.S. plane manufacturer Boeing facing renewed criticism over a series of quality and safety issues. A pilot of a terrifying LATAM, L-A-T-A-M, Airlines flight from Australia to New Zealand this week told those on board he temporarily lost control of his Boeing 787 after one of its instruments failed. So said a passenger on Monday. The episode resulted in a sudden drop that threw travelers around the cabin. About 50 people were injured, with one person in serious condition. Wow. Separately, United Airlines Monday reported its fifth flight incident in a week after one of its Boeing 777-300 aircraft carrying 183 passengers and crew was forced to turn around due to a quote-unquote maintenance issue. Last week, an engine that ingested bubble wrap caught fire midair, while another flight lost a tire after takeoff. It's wild. So airport dads are stressed, say the ladies at the Skim. What a mess. Based Bibi is under attack. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu's viability as a leader is in jeopardy, according to an unclassified U.S. intelligence report. Netanyahu has faced fierce criticism within Israel for his government's failure to predict nor forestall the October 7th Hamas attack. And public polling suggests many Israelis question whether his crushing military offensive in response is the best way to recover hostages. More than 30,000 people have been killed in Gaza, according to reports, since the Israeli-Hamas war began, per health ministry of the besieged territory of Palestine. The UN's World Food Program chief also stated Monday that famine is imminent in northern Gaza if the amount of aid entering the enclave does not increase exponentially. And that's a quote. Mike Cernovich, independent journalist, who's been on the Jesse Lee Peterson show in the Fallen State, he suggested that that the men are still fat in Gaza. They're eating the food and leaving the kids to starve. I don't know if that's true or not, but an interesting suggestion. TikTok, is it going to get banned? House Republicans expected to vote Wednesday on a bill that would ban TikTok in the United States unless it parts ways with its Chinese parent company ByteDance. 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 Some lawmakers have alleged the video sharing app used by 170 million Americans, quote-unquote Americans, that's like half the country, I think, poses a national security threat because the Chinese government could force ByteDance to hand over data of U.S. TikTok users. The Black on the Inside White House said crooked Joe Biden is prepared to sign that bill, while our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, has signaled some uneasiness over the legislation. Trump knows what's up, I think. Could be wrong. House Energy and Commerce Chair Kathy McMorris Rogers expressed confidence the measure would pass. So they're trying to crack down on TikTok. Who's going to crack down on them and the other ones? What a mess. I'm James Hake. Now back to the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, JLPtalk.com or jesseleepeterson.com/show, Hour 3.
To stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I'm Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show already. It is Tuesday. You can get involved by calling 888-7753. 773 888 Jesse. My biblical question for this week, and it's a doozy. Can you see the contradiction between the way you think and the way you are? Can you see the contradiction in the way you think, between the way you think and the way you are? Amazing question. We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JustinLeePeterson.com. JustinLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're busy anywhere around the world, we are heard around the world by everybody and their mama. If you're black, it's and they mama. If you're white, it's and their mama. But we are heard. So if you're busy doing what you're doing, you can't watch the show live. You can podcast, of course, but you could be listening live on your iPhone or iPad by calling 641-793-1500, 641-793-1500. Follow us on social media. Like, follow, ring the bell, subscribe, and blah, blah, blah. Also, to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to Buy Me a Coffee. BuyMeACoffee.com/JLP Talk. Or rebuild, if you want a tax deductible Buy Me a Coffee thing, go to rebuildingtheman.com. Rebuildingtheman.com, all right? It's Tuesday, the last hour of the show on Tuesday. It is Country and Western Tuesday. Yeehaw. Bring back, oh, bring back my country to me. Bring back my country to
What
me.
dog?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Amazing. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Here's a quick piece of amazing information I want to give you from digitalhistory.edu. Digitalhistory.edu. In 1900s, about 60% of the population lived on a farm or in rural areas. The top 5 names in 1900s for boys were John, William, James, George, and Charles. For girls, they were Mary, Helen, Anna, Margaret, and Ruth. I had a sister named Ruth. She did. In 1900s, if a mother had 4 children, there was a 55% chance that one would die before the age of 5. Half of all young people lost a parent before they reached the age of 21 years old in the 1900s. That's amazing. Thank you, Sean. A little history update. Let me go quickly back to Greg. Greg, wondering if he needed to give his father and his mother. So, Greg, when your mother were waiting on your father hand and foot, did she complain about it?
Yeah, she did.
And so what kind of things would she say?
That it was just too frustrating to bring him certain things like he was he's an alcoholic. So if she was bringing him drinks, because he's like, oh, go get me beer. She would go get him beer. Go get me this. Go get me, and it's like she's going to get him beer so that he's acting. I understand. I believe that, in my opinion, that the man should run his wife and his wife should obey the husband all time.
Right.
But at the risk of sounding contradictory, it's just there's a point, I think, where, like you said, all of us are inherently bad. So when a man uses that ability that he has over his wife to do bad things, like drink alcohol or do drugs, I find that to be, I think that there should be a part in the woman to say something. I think that's how we would coexist and how we equal each other out, because women are too emotional and men are a lot more logical.
So that's why you feel that way about your father. When you saw that happening, you identified with your mother. And so you're feeling a way about your father the way that she feels about him because you've identified with the mother. Had you not identified with the mother, whatever was happening with the father and the mother would not have bothered you at all. You would not have taken side for either one because it wasn't happening to you. It was happening to them. So you're seeing your father through your mother's eyes. Because you weren't doing that. You didn't wait on him like that. She did. But because she was complaining about it, you felt for her, and now you've identified with her and turned against your father. Your father did not do that to you. That happened with your mother and your father. It had nothing to do with you. And you have no right to resent him for doing that or resent her for giving in and bitching about it. It had nothing to do with you. You have taken sides. And the worst thing any human being can do is take sides. Never take sides.
Even if I resent her as well?
You do resent her. And you still see your father through her eyes. And you resent her because she has imposed a will upon you.
Is that a question? Are you asking me that, or?
No, I'm telling you that.
Oh, you were saying.
You got to forget. Yeah. I'm sorry?
I'm just trying to work it out of my head, man. You're blowing my mind a little.
But that's the only reason you resent your father for that. It didn't happen to you. It happened to your mother, and you are not your mama. You should have identified with her. You don't see your father clearly. You see your father the way your mother sees him. And you have the same complaints about him. You have the same words. You even speak about him in the way your mother does.
And at times she sticks up for him too. Over time, now she sticks up for him, and she really fully obeys and doesn't really. I mean, she complains here and there, but I guess it's not like the world is ending. Like it used to be,
you're more upset about it than your mama, and it didn't even happen to you.
Yeah.
What a mess!
Oh, what a mess! Well, Jesse, man, thank you very much, man. You just keep doing what you're doing. You're definitely changing lives, man. I've been agnostic for a good while, and I've been looking for a way back to the Lord, man, and it's just so frustrating because it's all up in the air. Everything. I mean, even the music that's out there now, the movies. It's so hard not to believe that there is a higher power of good, and we could all find peace within ourselves.
And it's inside of you. It's outside of you, above you, but it's inside of you. Everything you're looking for, the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. Paradise is within. And all you got to do is start looking at you and forget about looking at anyone else. And the beauty is, once you see you, you're going to understand every human being on earth, and you will never judge again.
Awesome, man. And I'm so sorry. I keep taking up some of your time. Can I ask one little more question?
Yes.
All right. How is love inherently bad? Like a love for a husband to a wife? Is that just...
Because it's emotional. Emotional love of a husband to a wife or a wife to a husband is not love. It's hate. It's all ego.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
It's all ego. And the wife, when he emotionally loved the husband, when he emotionally loved his wife, he's trying to get something from her, some type of thrill. And when the wife emotionally loves her husband, she's trying to get something. And when they don't get what they want, it turns into a war. But if they didn't have that fake love for one another, it would be peace on earth and a marriage that would last until death do you part. Because if a man loves God, if he loved what's right more than he did himself, his wife, his children, or anything else, he wouldn't need anything from his wife or anyone. And so there would be no battle. And if the woman loved what's right more than she does anything, her husband, her mama, her dad, her brother, her sister, her children, she would be needy and there would be no battle. And if it worked out, it'll be fine. If it didn't work out, it'll be fine. But it would have to work on its own without anyone trying to make it work. But when you have emotional love, which is evil, you try to make a relationship work. You try to make your life work out, and you only screw it up. You make it worse.
Amazing.
Amazing.
That's it, man. That's it. Thank you so much.
I wish
appreciate it, Jesse.
I wish you well, Greg. Call me again.
I will, man. Thank you.
All right. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Brandon from Canada. There's one line open. Brandon, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse. How you doing, man?
All is well. Welcome.
All is well.
Yes, sir.
Nice. I've been listening to the talk show and the bond sermons for a few months now, since the summer, and I've been kind of like, I guess, a Christian, or I thought I was a Christian, since I was around 17. And some of that time, like, there was tastes of, like, seeing who I really am, like you talk about, or like experiencing small bits of peace and being present, things like this. What I want to ask you was, I seem to be at this point, like, to answer your biblical question.
Today's biblical question: Can you see the contradiction between the way you think and the way you are?
I can at this point, in that I keep catching my thoughts. Like, sometimes I'll kind of spiral into like a bunch of thoughts, and it's even strange sometimes at the end of it when I catch it, I'll actually hear some like snickering or like laughs or something, and it's just interesting because, or even like I remember sometimes you'll say in church where like you don't always want to say advice or counsel, because like sometimes the demons or spirits, whatever, they'll use it against like people who are still trying to come into the light. And so like right before I'm about to go like unconscious to do something that I know either I shouldn't do, or like I know I can just feel, I know it's like not going to be good, like I'll literally hear like a thought or whatever where it's like, you can't help yourself, you can't do anything of yourself. And then I'll just like go unconscious and I'll slip into it. And what I'm finding is I'll go for like a few days and kind of be really conscious, and then I'll like slowly descend into unconsciousness, and then I find myself like I'm unconscious. So I'm just wondering, like, how does choice work? Like, where does I see that there's all these identities. I see I'm evil. I see I'm possessed. I did the forgiving of my parents. But I'm just trying to understand choice, because I keep going unconscious and sometimes conscious, and I just want to return. Like, I want to come right back so I can actually live what I'm supposed to live.
Well, there's no such thing as choice. It doesn't exist. And so, and the only way you keep going unconscious is because you've been living in an unconscious state forever. And now you're starting to learn the real way of living, which is a conscious state of being. And so when you find yourself going in and out, don't judge it. And just as soon as you realize you're unconscious, come back to consciousness. Just be aware of your body, be aware of your surroundings, and you're back. And then practice those little things, like when you're walking through a door from one room to another room. Be aware, and simply just be aware. See yourself walking through the door. See yourself getting in your car. See yourself sitting at the dinner table. You know, just kind of be aware without effort, and it's the awareness that's making the change, which is the mind of God.
The awareness is making the change.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense. I have heard you say that in like the sermons. I'm like listening to this stuff all the time, because it's like, it's really helpful to understand deeper, or try to understand deeper at least. I keep catching the emotions. Like if I'm like suddenly I'm sad or something, I'll be like, oh, like that's not really me, and I'll just come back.
Right on.
And like the judgment thing, you're right. If I do something that I know I shouldn't do or whatever, I won't judge it. Kind of come back from it afterwards.
That's right. Have no opinion about it when you do quote unquote what you think is wrong, whether it's your vices or whatever. Have no opinion about it. Just see it, but come back and just don't call it good or bad, right or wrong. And it's the awareness of that, which is the light, the mind of God. He would take it away from you, and we eventually see that it was never you. You were the evil spirits that cause you to do the things you don't want to do. They also judge you to make you feel guilty, so it can get some type of reaction from you in order to control you.
Totally. I even today I said something or unconsciously just about someone, like unconscious. I was just said something, and then later in the day I did something the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And then I literally heard some voices start saying you judge that person, here you are doing. I'm like, this whole thing is such a mess, and I just realized the spiritual world is almost taken over my physical life, and things are just, it's like a brutal mess, and I'm trying to wake out of it. It's almost you see somebody in a pool who kind of knows how to swim. They come up for air, and then they get pulled back down and come up for air. It's constant, and
but
it's wild.
Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, and just stay with it. And God is with you, and don't think about God, but God is with you, and He'll take it away. You'll be fine, but you got to stay with. Do not go back. Don't give up. Just stay with it. And again, practice being present, and you're going to be just fine.
If there's no choice, though, how can I even practice being present or practice, sometimes I'll do the silent prayers, constantly, consistently, and then I'll just stop for a couple of days or something, and I almost feel I don't even have control over that. Do you see what I mean? You sometimes say, overcome, take responsibility for your life. Once you've forgiven your parents, it's now up to you. But then I'm or maybe it's the Spirit's telling me, or whatever. It's it's up to me. I made a mess of everything. I got no choice. What can I do? I can't even sometimes choose to do the silent prayer. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
I do. I want you to know that you, Brandon, have never made a mess at all. You have nothing to do with the mess. It's just that you were not aware of the mess. Because when you were traumatized as a kid, you forgot about awareness, consciousness. You forgot about the mind of God. It's only when you were traumatized with anger that you forgot, and then you went into a dark world, a dark reality, which is evil of the imagination. And in that world, it created a whole mess. You had nothing to do with it.
This is why you say come out. Well, the scripture says come out from among them, and you always say learn to stand alone, because almost everyone, whether it's Christian or non-Christian or whatever they believe, everyone is always telling you to change things, do something different, make different choices, all that type of stuff, inspirational stuff. It doesn't work.
That's right. Let the inspirational stuff go right to hell, as keep it in hell where it is. It doesn't work.
It's keeping me in hell. That's
right.
For sure.
Absolutely. You don't want to look for no inspirational stuff. You don't want to look for any help from without. You want to help from within. Here's what I want to recommend. Okay. Let's say the next time you feel a thrill of fear, or you feel a thrill of loneliness, or whatever.
I feel fear right now. Even right now. Just talking to you, I feel fear.
Okay.
I know it's there.
Nice. And so what I want you to do is to stay, I recommend you do, is to stay aware of that fear. Don't try to borrow some other thought to get away from it. Don't drink some Kool-Aid to get away from it. Don't call up a friend or anyone to get away from it. Stay aware of the fear. Feel it. Stay aware of it. And the Father will save you from it. That's what He's trying to save you from. And come to me as you are, He said, in fear and in loneliness and in trembling. Don't you try to get rid of it. You let it hang and you watch it. And the watching it is the Father saving you from the false identity. Even in trembling, you can hardly walk. You can hardly, because you're so afraid of, so whatever, right? You feel it and stay with it, stay aware of it, and you will be saved from it. It is evil. It's just nothing but darkness. And God will save. And it feels like you're hurting, and you do feel it in your body, but you're not your body. You do feel it in the body, and the body is weak because you've been given into weakness all your life. You've been given into these things. And so the body is weak, but the Spirit of God is willing to save you.
And it seems like I'm convinced that I made the mess, and everyone around me, like even in just throughout life, they are convinced that they've made, like that I made a mess or that they've made a mess. So it's like constantly reinforced. But me identifying with that mess is the problem.
Yes.
It was never even me in the first place.
Right on, 100%. You, Brandon, have never, ever, 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 ever done one thing wrong in your whole life. You did not create the mess, but you believed the imagination, the thoughts, and the spirit of evil that was creating a mess. And the spirit of evil told you you were creating a mess. And then the spirit of evil inside of other people told you you created a mess, and you just believed it to the lie.
That's true. I did.
But
crazy.
I know, what a mess.
That is actually crazy, man.
And every human being...
Makes me want to cuss.
That's right. Every human being, there's not one that is not living in a mess. But only a few, such as yourself, are trying to overcome it. But most don't because they love their mess. And if they see you're trying to overcome the mess, they're going to come after you to keep you in the mess so you can be in the hell that they're in, and they'll get a thrill for keeping you in the mess or
That's
trying to
true
keep
too.
you in it.
Yeah, that's true too. And then they get offended if you... But I've learned, though, since I've had a few conversations now over these few months, and I've learned that I have to learn to stand alone. I can still, like, have that little space. I know you say, like, have that little space between you and people.
Yeah.
It really helps, actually, because, like, you're able to just see clearer. But that's really interesting. You're saying that the real me actually wants to overcome. Whatever that real me is that I sometimes, like, get a taste of, it actually wants to overcome.
That's why you're doing. That's why the truth have caught up with you by allowing you to see where I'm coming from. It wasn't me. It allowed you to see it because the truth, which is God, knows that you want to overcome. So he's trying to help you. And now he's telling you to give up. Don't try to change yourself. Don't run away from the fears and the doubts and the worry, but run to them and watch them, and I got you. Because they're not you.
It's really interesting, man. Go ahead, sorry.
No, because they're not you. You're not your fears. You're not your doubts. You're not your loneliness. You're not this and not that. People travel all the time because they are running away from fears. They're running away from loneliness, aloneness, and all that. And they can't be helped because they're running away from the thing that would help them. It's the Spirit of God.
Yeah, I relate to that because I seem to go unconscious and, like, watch a bunch of TV or YouTube or something. And I just realized, even while I'm doing it, I'm like, I'm unconscious right now.
Absolutely.
I'm doing this, but I'm unconscious. And you're saying about fear, the spirits in me must be afraid because if I'm trembling, like my body's trembling and stuff, and the real me is not actually afraid, the spirit that's there that I'm identifying with must be afraid.
100%. And it acts out in your body and mind because it's in your mind and in your body. You think that is you, but it's really those spirits that is afraid.
Right. Wow. That is, wow.
But you have always thought it was you.
Yeah.
Because you have felt it in your body. You heard the thoughts. It sounds like it was you. And you feel it in your body, but it's not you. I promise you it's not you at all. Those are just evil spirits that's made a home in you.
And as long as I don't give up, I'll see it for myself.
Do not, if it takes a lifetime, work on you. He who endures to the end will get the prize.
Right, which is consciousness.
That's right. And the one thing I want to tell you from this day, I want you to practice whatever you are feeling, whether it's fear or whatever the feeling is, Don't run away from that feeling. Stay with that feeling. Go on with your day. Go and do what you got to do. But stay with the feeling. Stay conscious of it. And it will have to leave your body.
Okay. All right, I'll test it, man. I appreciate
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Let me know how it goes.
Okay, I will. Thanks,
right.
man.
You're welcome. 888-77-53773. Is it Kia? Kia out of Texas. Kia, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you. I'm so happy to talk to you again.
Thank you.
So, I have a question. This may be a little bit different, be a little bit off, but I know you're very good with advice and really hearing the inside, like the spiritual part of it. So, I deal with this. I'm just gonna say, however it flows out. It's like a copycat spirit. Like I can't do anything without people literally copying. Like even if I talk a certain way, they do it, and I mean it's just getting ridiculous. And I took it as like a jealousy thing that's going. I don't know, and so I just really need help because I want to make sure it's not just me, but that I'm really seeing this. And I don't know. I get like this feeling of like sorcery or envy whenever I'm around these type of people who do this. So.
And your question is what?
My question is, how do I deal with? Is it me when I go around and I see these same spirits and the same thing? Is it me?
Give me an example or something. Give me an example of what you're saying. What happened?
Okay, so for example, if I go to work, I notice that because I've gone to a new place of work, and it's like every time I go, I always get like 2 or 3 women who, like, if I wear something one day, they have to go wear it the next day, or if I, it's just, and they stare. All they do is stare all the time
at you.
Yes.
And why are they staring at you?
I don't know.
How do you know they're staring at you?
I don't know. Sometimes I just get this. I'm very watchful. Like I watch, to make sure, I'm safe wherever I am. And it's
you
just,
watch what?
I just
you watch
see
what?
them. I see them. I literally can see them staring.
You say you watch what?
I watch all of my surroundings. Like I'm always aware and conscious of my surroundings.
And so, you see these women staring at you?
Staring, yes.
And when you ask why you
look
staring?
back, I don't ask. It's very creepy. I kind of like try to get out of the way, but I don't ask.
Why are you so concerned that they're staring at you?
I don't know, because I don't know what they're thinking.
Why are you even concerned about what they're thinking?
I'm afraid. Like I've been stalked before. I don't know if that's an issue for me too.
Oh, I see. Hold on for me, Kia. Let me take a quick break. 888-7753-773. Quick break. Back in a moment to your phone calls and Super Chat. The treasure chest is now open on D-Live. Back in a moment.
I'm 32 years old now, and I've been clinically depressed since I was 17 years old, and ever since I started listening to you a couple of months ago, bro, I don't even need to hear the word depression. I don't even care about that because that's not anything that I identify with anymore.
Nice.
I'm 100% cured. I'm 100% better because I've been listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate you, and I just can't even begin to tell you how much I really appreciate the things that you're doing for young men. Young men need to hear this, and young men need to know this message that you're delivering because it's important. It's vital to their lives, Jesse. I just wanted to let you know that, man.
That's amazing. I mean, you made my day, man. When I hear one soul has returned to the Father, it's like 1,000. It's better than silver and gold. So God bless you, man. 888-7753-773. Quick announcement. The Hake Report is coming up at the top of this hour. The Hake, H-A-K-E report.com, thehakereport.com. And that from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. And after the Hake Report, Joel Friday TV, he black. Joel Friday TV at 11 a.m. Pacific time from 11 to 12. And then the American Anchor Baby, y'all turned my earset down or something. The American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor, put it back to normal. What the? The American Anchor Baby at, leave well enough alone. Now my headset is all dull. The American Anchor Baby at 12. Not only does he turn headsets down, he turned America to energy. You give it to him by God. The American Anchor Baby at 12 noon Pacific time, all right? If you need counseling, we have the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I do it myself by phone, Skype, or walk-in. Go to rebuildingtheman.com, rebuildingtheman.com, or call 800-411-2663, 800-411-BOND, and you can make an appointment there, individual, family, or whatever. And for personal shout-outs, birthdays, anniversaries, whatever, go to Cameo. Cameo, I'll do those as well. cameo.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. cameo.com for encouragements, birthdays, weddings, congratulations, or whatever, all right? Let me go quickly back to Kia. And Kia is concerned about these people looking at her. Hey, Kia.
No. It's not just about them looking at me.
What's your concern?
I just want to know if this is like when they do it and then I see that they do copy, I don't know, something just tells me to start watching out for them,
Oh, I see.
And then I can see they'll copy the same hairstyle, literally.
And you said that you were stalked one time, right, in your life?
Yes, I've been stalked.
By a boyfriend or something?
No. These are people that I'm telling you, like co-workers.
Oh.
And even a family member.
So here's what I want you to give this a try.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were not stalking them, that you wouldn't know that they were stalking you. If you weren't looking at them, you wouldn't know that they were looking at you. Stop looking at them. Stop looking outwardly and be aware on the inside of you. Watch what's happening in your thoughts and feelings. Keep your eyes on you and forget about them, and you'll be fine.
Okay. So when I wasn't watching, that's when they were able to get up on me, But now that I watch, nobody's able to get up on me.
Did they beat you?
No.
Did they rob you?
No.
Did they rape you?
No.
They didn't do nothing to you then. What might be happening?
I don't want anyone to.
I'm sorry?
I don't want anyone to. If I don't want them in my affairs or want them near me, I don't want them near me.
But they're not going to get into your affairs if you don't invite them in. Don't tell them and they won't get in. But see, you might be watching them and the devil's saying to you, oh, look at them. They did their hair like you today. They got a dress on just like yours. They're this. Mm-hmm. And you're looking to the devil, but if you take your eyes off of them and just keep them on yourself, then you'll be guided by what is right.
Okay.
Give that a good try. Let me know how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Amazing. Let me go to Sean. I believe it was Sean that I told to call back out of Maryland. Sean, did I ask you to call back yesterday?
Yes, you did, Jesse. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for calling. You're on the air.
Amazing show today.
Thank you.
I went and forgave my mother last year, and I was shaking in my boots when I went to do it, like you said I would be. And she acted all confused and started crying and whatnot. And ever since then, kind of every interaction I have with her, it feels like I end up having to kind of broach that topic again and like explain it to her again and go through things with her again. And I notice myself still kind of shaking in my boots every time I'm still having to deal with her. And yesterday, my sister called me and she was like, "I don't know what you did. I don't know what you did to Mom, but she's disturbed now, and she's a mess. It's all a mess." So my question is just at this point, how do I deal with her in the right way, if I deal with her at all, and just how do I find peace, because it's still find myself having some anxiety, and it's not me, but I still get some anxiety and
number one,
not sure how to deal with her.
Number one, from this day forward, never explain that to her again, because you don't owe her an explanation. You're just supposed to give her for what she's done to her. I'm sorry for resenting you. And your mother's playing a game on you. She's controlling you because she know that you keep explaining. The more crazy she act, the more she gonna get control of you. Stay away from her. Don't resent her. Don't explain anymore, and start working totally on. Keep working on you by watching those thoughts and feelings. Do the silent prayer, so you can be aware, and you'll be fine.
Got it.
And if she asks, "Why don't you come over?" Why don't you? Just because you can tell her, "I don't come over because you still trying to manipulate me. I don't feel like dealing with that now." Just be honest with her, but stay away from her. And if your sister call, don't let the sister play the game either. And don't let your mother work through your sister to draw you back in, because evil is trying to draw you back in. Don't explain that anymore. She understands. She's pretending not to understand forgiveness, but she does.
Okay. Is it the wrong thing to ignore and not take the calls?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's neither wrong nor right. If you don't want to talk, you don't want to talk.
Okay.
It's neither wrong nor right.
Okay. And then whatever happens to her and however she acts,
if she fall out and die, it has nothing to do with you visiting or not visiting. Has nothing to do with you talking to her or not talking. That's all with her. Has nothing to do with you. So if she die, you look for the insurance paper. Go over there right away. Look in that kitchen right next to the insurance paper in that drawer right next to the kitchen over there from the stove. But don't let the devil tell you, "Oh, you didn't visit your mama. She died." That had nothing to do with you.
Yeah. So just watch those thoughts and let them pass.
Yes.
Even when they keep coming back, so you watch and they let them pass. They come next day. You wake up, they come back.
Yeah.
And just keep going. Just keep going through it, huh?
100%. Keep going through it until you're on the other side. On the other side of hell is heaven.
And just keep going through it. And sometimes it takes time, right? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen right away.
Well, don't even decide that right away or not.
Yep.
Stay away from all imagination and just do it.
Got it.
And watch and do it. If you have to go in and out of imagination 50,000 times a day, you keep doing it and you'll be free. You'll find it'll be fine. You'll work.
Got it.
All right.
Thank you, Jesse. Hey, Jesse, one quick question. Do you care who Trump picks for vice president? Is there anyone you like out there? It seems like seems like none of these people are any good, but is there anyone you'd like to see, or
at this point, I really don't care at this point. I just want him in there to straighten out some of this mess. But at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you for everything, Jesse.
You're welcome, Sean. Amazing. Daniel, there's one line open, 888-7753-773. One line open. Daniel, first time call out of New York. Daniel, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling about my situation with my family. My mom, she actually tried to kill my father, as in literally with a knife.
Really? How old are you?
I'm 42, sir.
You how much?
42.
42?
Yes.
Okay, so your mother tried to kill your father with a knife.
Yes, yes. She was a very chaotic person, and she was from the UK, but she lived in, and she dragged us back and forth between France and UK, and she was always a bit out of control, and I saw her be violent with other people, and it was a very violent upbringing for us, the kids, with her.
Yes.
And with my dad to some extent too, but I ended up leaving when I was young. I immigrated to the U.S. to try and get away, and they lost custody of my sister to the French authorities, and then I guess when there was no kid, I don't know exactly how it went about, but well, actually, no, I do know how it went about because she'd done something similar to me, but he was in his sleep, and she was an alcoholic. She stabbed him in his sleep with a knife.
So she actually stabbed him, but he just didn't die.
Exactly. He survived. She just missed. I was told she missed his spine by a few inches. So it was very close, and he had a lot of medical problems. But he did not want to press charges, and the French authorities, somehow my mother, despite being an alcoholic and all this, she would run circles around all these French people and the French authorities. She had this British charm that even the women that I've seen here in America, they cannot get to that level of manipulation.
So how old were you when this happened?
I was in my early 20s.
Oh.
I was in the U.S. at this point. I came here when I was 18.
Oh, okay. So you were at least an adult when she tried to kill your father?
Yes. As far as I know, that is the first time she made a successful attempt. But, it was very violent throughout my childhood. And there's a lot that I'm trying to unpack it, and there's memories that.
So when your mother had put the knife in your daddy, did she say, "You just gotta die"?
Yeah, it was. She sounded like that when she was drunk. She was very, there was definitely evil in her.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've seen her I now that I'm more older and I'm an adult and I've had experience in life, I recognize that wasn't the first time that she wanted to kill people. And I never really, it's only now in my adult life I'm trying to address this properly. And my father, he survived this ordeal, and he used his connections. He used his connections with the French institutions. He worked for a French military contracting company, and this is also something that I found out that was very disturbing, is that he would boast about being entertained by Gaddafi, the Gaddafi regime in Libya. He worked with a lot of these ex-French colonies and African Arab countries, selling them military equipment on behalf of the French.
What a mess.
And so he used his connections so that she wouldn't have, and then what he also did was he reached out to my sister who is at this point not in his custody anymore because the situation was so bad. But he reached out to her and coerced her or convinced her to testify positively to the French judge in my mother's favor, saying that they were in counseling now and they were going to do family counseling and all that, you know.
So your father took your mother back when she allegedly tried to kill?
Yes.
When she tried to kill him, he took her back?
He took her back, fought for her to not face any charges from day one, took her back, and then...
When a man loves a woman... When a man loves a woman, she can do no wrong. Put a knife in his body, she'll take her back.
You make it sound so sweet.
Oh, God. And so, because of time, what's your question for me?
Well, my question is, you say, you know, about forgiving, and this is just half of the story. We're just getting started, but I want to forgive this guy, and I want to forgive the French family because they witnessed all this and they did nothing. They just let it be. But I want to find a way to get past this and be able to forgive him. And
you want to forgive your father?
Well,
when you say forgive him, you mean you want to forgive your father?
I want to forgive my father for imposing my mom after this happened, because after all this happened, we did end up speaking maybe a year later, and we tried to reconcile, and I tried to forgive my parents for everything. And he kind of, what he did is he sent my mom on a plane and just called me at the last minute saying, "Hey, she's on her way to JFK, go pick her up," with no, no forewarning or anything like this. And of course, that was also a mess because she came with alcohol, and then she ended up she ended up endangering my son, and almost it was very bad.
So she was living with you and your family?
No, by then I had started my own family in the U.S.
And your mother came to the U.S. was living with you?
He sent her over on a vacation. He just sent her last minute because she wanted to have a relationship with her grandchild, and I was trying because they're my parents. I said, look, if she comes, there cannot be any alcohol, there cannot be any of that around my child, but still he sent her, and it ended up being a mess, and she ended up getting, she ended up getting pissed out of her mind because it was always somehow the alcohol, and it just ended very bad, and it just after all that, things with them just kept escalating from bad to worse.
So why did you say?
Died.
So what now?
To where the point where my mom died because she drank herself.
Oh, she's dead now?
She's dead, yeah.
She
died
dead?
in 2012.
Well, that's good. Are you glad she's dead?
It's not like that. I don't resent like that.
But that's good. She's not in the way anymore. But let me ask, why didn't you tell your father, no, I'm not picking her up at the airport. I'm gonna leave her there. Why did you pick her up?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I understand.
I thought that I was like 20 something, very young and naive and beta as well.
I understand. So because of time, what's your question for me today?
How do I forgive something like that?
How do you forgive your father and mother, or just father?
Yes. How do I forgive both of them?
By realizing the same evil that causing you to have anger toward them, it's the same spirit that is driving your father and was driving him and was driving your mother. It was not them, but it was the anger, evil spirit inside of them that they had for their parents that was causing them to do it. They could not help themselves. They literally could. They didn't want to be that way, but because they didn't look within and overcome anger, it was driving them, and it made them do what they did. It made your mother crazy like that. And then your father, because he resents his mother, he is subject to women. He's looking for a father's love, but he keeps thinking a mother's love is going to work, and it won't.
Wow, you're really good.
And so just realize, yes, it was wrong. Yes, it was evil, but it wasn't what they wanted to do. They could not help it.
Right. Wow, Jesse. Yeah.
And you'll be fine, and it'll be amazing, and you will have no past and no future. Your life will become, there are no words to express how amazing your life will become when you forgive. They couldn't help it, man. If they could have been differently, they would have. If they could have done differently, they would have. Are you doing the silent prayer video?
No, but I intend to start.
Yeah, start doing it, and God's going to bring you out of the imagination. And when you think about these things that happened to you, it would be as though when you're telling the story about it, it would be as though it never happened to you. It was just something that happened, and it was just crazy how it happened, but it wouldn't affect you at all right?
Right. Thank you so much, Jesse. You're amazing.
Let me know how it goes, Daniel. Amazing story.
Thank you kindly.
All right, call me again, all right?
Will do it.
Okay. Amazing. And you think your mama was crazy. What the? You know what? I wanted to get to the super chats and the rest of the callers, but I don't know. Hassan, it was 3 hours gone. Hassan and I tried to figure out what happened to the time. What the? Listen, I'm telling you the truth. Do it to what now? Stay in your hell, try to be jealous, envious, strife, and hurt others. That's up to you. But you can be free. You really, really can be free when you rise above this mess. Forgive. No one can help themselves. No one can help. Forgive your mama. Forgive you. You see how everybody hate their mama? I told you, everybody hate their mama. And if you're black, everybody hate their mama. If you're white, everybody hate their mama. But forgive, folks. Don't be afraid to forgive so you can be free and not repeat this thing or pass it on to your children since you have one. You got to love all or you love none. You're in hell. Do the silent prayer, www.silentprayer.video, and watch inside of you. Watch the not you. You're not your thoughts. You're not the emotions, all right? I'll be back tomorrow if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. The Hake report is coming up now, and we'll do the super chats tomorrow. Thank you for your support. I do appreciate it. Stephen from Maryland, Grace from Rhode Island, Joe, a first-time caller from New York, and somebody just dropped before I forgot who was there. I'm out of time, but I'll be back tomorrow if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. Check out my interview on Trace Gallagher from last night on Fox News Channel. All right, it was amazing.
Amazing.
Take care, folks. I appreciate you.
Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Because if we don't, then we lose, and then we got to hear the fake news. Whoa.
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father.